Hello everyone, we are Group 3. Today our group will present which is the concept of human. Before we begin, here is the overview of our presentation. First, I will introduce the meaning of the concept of human and explain why it is important. Then the following presenters will discuss different perspectives of human concepts from psychology, sociology, philosophy, religion, and the Malaysian values. Finally, we will conclude by discussing the human as a balanced being. Now, let's begin with the concepts of human. The concept of human refers to how we understand what a human being is, including human nature, value, abilities, and the life meanings. It can describe humans as rational, emotional, or social beings, and provides a foundation for understanding human behavior, development, and the life goal. This concept is important because different understanding of humans can shape the way people think, behave, and live in society. The concept of human is important because it influences many aspects of life. First, in education, different fields of humans affect learning, goals, and teaching methods. Some systems focus more on knowledge and logic, while others also emphasize creativity and emotional development. Second, in society, it influences social values and human relationships. Some societies value cooperation and community, while others focus more on competition and individual achievement. Lastly, in terms of happiness, it affects how people define a good life. Some people believe happiness comes from success and wealth, while others believe it comes from relationships, meaning, and inner satisfaction. Therefore, the concept of human plays an important role in shaping education, society, and well-being.
I will explain the scientific perspective on human nature using psychology and sociology. First, psychology focuses on the individual. It studies behavioral and mental processes and explains humans through internal factors, such as thoughts, emotions, and personality. From this perspective, humans are thinking and feeling beings. For example, a person's actions can be influenced by their emotions or personal experiences. Second, sociology focuses on the social level. It studied how human behavior is shaped by society, including culture, norms, and social rules. From this perspective, humans are social beings influenced by their environment. For example, people may behave differently depending on social expectations or cultural background. Therefore, human nature can be understood at two levels, the individual and the social. Psychology explains internal processes, while sociology explains social influence. Overall, human behavior is shaped by both internal and external factors.
Now it's turned to the Western paradigm. I will focus on the first two stages, Aristotle and the Christian Middle Ages. Firstly, Aristotle describes human as the rational animal. In his view, reason is the main quality that separates humans from other living things. Without reason, humans would not be very different from animals. For Aristotle, a truly human life means using reason to make good decisions, behave morally, and live together with others in the community. What's more, during the Christian Middle Age, the understanding of human identity changed. Humans were no longer mainly defined by reason, but by faith. People understood themselves as God's creations and servants guided by divine law. Therefore, the purpose of life was not mainly personal self fulfillment, but achieving salvation through obedience and moral conduct. So, in these two stages, we can see an important shift in the Western view of humans, from Aristotle's idea of humans as rational beings to the medieval Christian idea of humans as servants of God. And next, my groupmate will continue the later development of the Western paradigm, especially Nietzsche's and Sartre.
Today I will talk about the Western paradigm, based on the ideals of Friedrich Nietzsche and Jean-Paul Sartre. First, Nietzsche believed that people should create their own values and become stronger through challenges. He believed humans should keep improving themselves. Next, Sartre believed that humans are free to choose their own life. He said, people are not born with a fixed identity. Our choices and actions make us who we are, but freedom also brings responsibility. Both philosophies believed that humans are not fixed. People can create their own meaning and decide their own future.
This part explains the concept of human as a servant of Allah. In Islamic philosophy, a human being is first understood through his or her relationship with God. Human life is rooted in faith, worship, and obedience to divine guidance. This means a person is not completely independent, but is morally responsible before Allah for the way he or she lives. So the key idea of this part is human dignity begin with spiritual responsibility. In other words, to be human in Islam is to live with devotion, self-discipline, and moral accountability. So now I will explain the concept of human as Allah trusted on earth. In Islamic philosophy, human beings are entrusted with an important role in the world. This means that humans should uphold justice, care for others, use knowledge wisely, and protect creation. They are accepted to act responsibly for the good of society and the environment. So the main point in this part is that being human in Islam is not only about duty to God, but also about social and ethical responsibility in the world.
Okay, next, let's explore how to measure Eastern philosophies. The Hinduism and Buddhism view the concept of the self and the ultimate goal of human existence. Starting with Hinduism, the core idea is a profound unity between the micro-individual and the macro-universe. Hinduism teaches that our true essence is the Atman, our eternal soul. The ultimate meaning of the life is to escape samsara, which is the endless cycle of cause and effect. We do this by realizing that our individual soul is entirely one with Brahman, the ultimate reality of universal oneness. Achieving this perfect vision brings moksha, meaning we are finally liberated from the. Okay, now let's move into the Buddhism. We see a fascinating contrast with the concept of anatman, which translates to no self. Unlike Hinduism, Buddhism denies the existence of a permanent, independent soul. Instead, it suggests that humans are merely a temporary collection.
Today, I will briefly introduce two major Eastern philosophies, Confucianism and Daoism. Confucianism views human beings as moral and relational, emphasizing values such as Ren, benevolence, social responsibility, and continuous moral cultivation. It focuses on how individuals should behave within society and fulfill their roles ethnically. In contrast, Taoism sees humans as part of nature. Its core idea is Wu Wei, often translated as effortless action, which encourages living in harmony with the natural flow of life rather than forcing control. In simple terms, Confucianism highlights society and responsibility, while Taoism emphasizes nature and harmony. From a Malaysia perspective, the concept of insensitial reflects a holistic and balanced human being. This idea is closely related to GERI model, which includes four key aspects: physical, emotional, spiritual, and intellectual development. Together, these dimensions aim to nurture individuals who are balanced, harmonious, and socially responsible. In this framework, a complete human is not only intellectually capable but also emotionally stable, spiritually grounded, and physically healthy. Ultimately, insensitial represents the goal of developing individuals who are ethnic, well-rounded, and able to contribute positively to society.
In conclusion, our presentation shows that human beings cannot be explained from only one perspective. Different traditions define humans in different ways. Western philosophy says humans as rational and free beings, while Islamic philosophy says humans as servants of Allah and trustees on earth. Eastern philosophies also give different views. Hinduism and Buddhism focus on the soul, the self, and liberation. Confucianism and Taoism emphasize morality, relationships, harmony, and nature. Finally, the Malaysian concept of essence literature brings this idea together into a balanced view of human development. Therefore, human beings are not only rational, they are also spiritual, social, ethical, and ecological beings. The way we define human shapes how we live, how we educate people, and how we build society. If humans are rational beings, education should develop critical thinking. If humans are spiritual and social beings, education should also develop morality, responsibility, and cooperation. If humans are part of nature, human progress should not destroy the environment. Therefore, to be fully human means more than thinking, working, or surviving. It means becoming a balanced person intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, socially, and ethically. In the end, to be human is to live with balance, wisdom, and responsibility.